Hey, good to see you again. Today, we're off to The Hague. This is going to be 2 days in The Hague. Have you ever been to The Hague? Last time I was there, I was a young lad. I'm slightly older now. So I'm going to see how much I can see in the space of 2 days and try and enjoy it. Noisy plane up there. I'll be getting on one of those planes in just a moment, but now I must head on to the airport and fly to Amsterdam. From Amsterdam, get to The Hague. Let's go. Alright, so I'm through security. I'm at Luton Airport. Now I've got to go find my flight. Okay, so I've just arrived at Amsterdam Schiphol Airport, but I have kind of a rush because I've got to get to my accommodation before it shuts. What I didn't realise when I was booking it, check-in closes at 10, it's now, well, it's almost 10:30, so I've already missed that, but they said they're going to stay open until 12, so I'll be cutting it quite closely if I make it. It will be making it or sleeping on the street, or finding something else, and I've already paid for it, which is annoying. Okay, I actually made it. So first beer of the trip. Triple. I actually made it with half an hour to spare, so nothing to panic about really. So it was all good. Anyway, onwards. Let's enjoy this. Already feel great. I've just had 2 beers. Shared them with an Irishman. The Irish are everywhere. Now I'm going to go find some croquettes. So this is what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to get some rest because tomorrow, which is coming up in a moment, is going to be epic because I'm going to explore all of The Hague.
Mooi hè? Ja, ik vind het heel mooi.
Van natuurlijk. Makkelijk. Ja, dank u wel. Yes. Thanks for back to you.
One of the things I missed about the Netherlands are these things called croquettes. I've just been trying to sort of film what's going on. Apparently this is one of the best places to come for croquettes. I've actually asked for a vegetarian croquette. The last time I was in the Netherlands I didn't get a vegetarian croquette. So this time I've got a vegetarian croquette with peanut sauce. Hopefully it gets made and see what happens. Honestly, that was one of the things I was most looking forward to. So it's literally in the first couple of hours of arriving, I have to have a croquette. Excuse me eating though. What I've never had before is a croquette with peanut sauce. What you just saw there was a croquette with peanut sauce. I highly recommend it. Obviously, if you've got peanut allergies, don't have it. Usually, sometimes it's served with curry sauce. Sometimes most of the time it's served with mayonnaise or mustard. Mayonnaise is generally my preference, but croquette with peanut sauce, and this is a vegetarian one by the way, and it's really good.
Next morning.
Okay, so I've woken up on a very rainy day. So, well, not very rainy. It was raining fairly hard earlier. now we've just got drizzle in the air. Grey day. Looks like it's going to be drizzling all of the whole of it today, which is a shame. It's not going to stop me. I'm going to go and see what I can see. I just stumbled across this shop. It's a weird thing about Dutch. In Amsterdam also they have these specialist shops where they have vintage gaming, seriously impressive collections. This collection could give sort of Guinness Book of Records a run for its money in terms of having all the games. Probably doesn't have everything, but it's certainly got every single system you can think about. I appreciate this is me talking about the Hague, but when I come across Sega Saturn, Super Nintendo, NES, Sega Game Gear, Game Boy, PlayStation 1, all of the PlayStations, the Mega Drives, the Sega Genesis, as the Americans like to say, Super Nintendo. It's quite amazing. It's an amazing collection, and it is great to see this sort of stuff in a shop like this. Look at this, GPH Wonder Wizard. So it's the geekiness of me coming out, but I really appreciate something like this. Obviously, one of the definitive things about the Netherlands is their love and their obsession with these things called clocks. I remember having these as a child because obviously my background is I'm part Dutch. For some reason, we had these, and parents thought it was funny for us to attempt to wear these things. So you wear them and you get splinters. They're not very comfortable at all, but I've noticed they now do soft versions of clogs. We wouldn't want to wear them outside, but they look like nice slippers. I'm at the Dutch Parliament. What's interesting about the Netherlands, the capital is obviously Amsterdam, but the Dutch Parliament and where the Prime Minister resides and where all the sort of government business goes on is in The Hague. In a way, The Hague should be the capital, but Amsterdam is the capital. Beautiful buildings, simply amazing fountains. There was a little display back there highlighting, sadly in Dutch, the occupation of the Netherlands by the Nazis, and it it conjures up sort of images for me, or wonders for me in terms of wondering what my grandfather went through. He was Dutch, born to a Belgian mother and a Dutch father, and he spent his time in the Netherlands prior to the war, and then as the Nazis appeared, he had numerous run-ins with the Nazis, got chased down by German shepherds, escaped, and then it's very hazy, but I know he lived a more interesting life and a more certainly more. What's sad, I didn't get to know all of the stories that happened between 1939 and 1945 from my grandfather. The building right at the centre, which was just behind the golden fountain with the impressive doorway, I can't seem to get in. I've walked all the way around. The doors are all closed. I presume these are all government offices, so a lot of government work goes on here. I've seen a lot of armed police carrying I think 5 or 6 magazines on their front, which is kind of reassuring given the problems that Europe's having right now with jihadis, and it's reassuring that the Dutch police are here looking after, the privileged, I should say, because everyone here in these offices generally works for the government. But simply stunning surroundings and a really pleasant walk through the main square. I'm going to exit the main square now, and I'm going to attempt to go to the art gallery where I think the painting "The Girl with the Pearl Earring" is. So let's go and have a look at that. Okay, it turns out it's going to take about 3 to 4 hours to see the entire collection of the Mauritius. Mauritius was basically started by the Count of Nassau-Sinai. I think that's connected to the Nassau in the Caribbean, but correct me if I'm wrong. I know he was a dignitary in Brazil, and he fought off the Portuguese in Brazil before the Portuguese effectively took Brazil. He made basically all his money from the Americas. Sad to say, but he made a lot of his money from the slave trade. However, despite the sort of the wrongs of the time, he did produce this amazing building, which has recently been restored in the last few years, last decade or so. It sits behind a kind of moat, and inside is a lot of Rembrandts. As you see, there's Rembrandt. There's the self-portrait of Rembrandt just there, and there's Remmer's "The Girl in the Pearl Earring," among many other the golden age of Dutch artists. I'm going to go have lunch first, get a little bit of energy, and then I'm going to go swoop around this amazing gallery. I hear it costs about €15.50 to get in, so I do want to go in there with high energy. So I'm going to get quick lunch and I'm going to go straight in there. As you see right behind me, Johann Bremer's Girl with the Pearl Earring. Note the big crowd just trying to get close to the painting. It's a little bit like the Mona Lisa in the Louvre in Paris. You'll go to the Louvre and there'll be just crowds and crowds of people sort of all hoarded around the one painting they all seem to know. Exactly the same in this case. So pictures at the ready, and everyone's trying to get the picture. And that's pretty much it. I didn't show you everything in the video, but I think I showed you at least 75% of what's in the gallery. Don't get me wrong, very beautiful gallery, some impressive pieces. Quite expensive though, €15.5 for something that I was told would take 3 to 4 hours. In reality, you probably whiz through it in about an hour. If you're not really paying any attention, a lot less. Impressive Rembrandts, very impressive works. Beautiful building though, but a lot smaller than I expected it to be. What a contrast, coming from the Mauritius gallery to the Museum of Hague.
Hello?
Can you hear my voice? It's completely empty here. Although this is fairly high ranked up on the TripAdvisor rankings, and it's only just around the corner from the impressive gallery. So I thought I'd go check it out. €5 for students, €10 for adults. Let's see what I can see here. €5, that was an impressive museum. I have to say I really enjoyed that museum. It only takes about an hour to look around. Worth the visit, certainly better value than the Mauritius, probably saying that wrong, gallery. But both equally enjoyable. One was just better value, if that makes sense. Onwards, now let's go see what else we see. So I'm just on the edge of a park called Lang Voort, and right next to the park are these mobikes. Now, I'm familiar with the mobike because the mobike is available in London. I'll be honest, not the greatest bike, very, very slow speed. They only generally have one gear from my last experience on them. What I'm going to try and do is, now it's kind of stopped raining, I'm going to drive the seat and do a little bit of a ride around, just a quicker way to get around the city. But what an amazingly beautiful park. You can imagine the gentry back in the day, during the golden age of the Dutch period, the 17th century. They would have walked around this park, a stone's throw away from the government buildings and the Mauritius Gallery. But it truly is a very, very beautiful city, incredibly well laid out. It obviously doesn't have as many canals as what Amsterdam does, but it shouldn't, the Hague should not be overlooked from what I'm seeing so far. So far, I'm greatly impressed with it. But let's try and get on this bike. Obviously the cycle is the best way to see the Netherlands. If you can get yourself a real bike, and not just one of these sort of like small time rental motorbikes, and I'm talking about a real bike, or a Dutch bike actually. Dutch bikes, to brake you have to pedal backwards. Thankfully this one actually has real brakes, but a lot of the bikes you won't see brakes on because the only way to brake, pedal backwards. But it's a great way to sort of see the city. I best get off my phone, it's fairly dangerous now. I was going to have an afternoon tea here, but sadly Alexander's is closed. Maybe another time. So I'm cycling through Van Stolpark Park, west of where the palace is, which I'm going to go to later. A lot of dog walkers, check this out. It's like a lot of beautiful dogs. It's a beautiful park, the lungs of the city in a way. And the park that way is Westbrook Park, or Westbrook Park, depending on the pronunciation. But I'm now going to go to the palace because there's only so many parks you can take in one day, especially when it's drizzly. But it's dried up just briefly at the moment, but it feels like rain's coming back. So onwards to the palace. Let's see what we find. Just in front of me, which we're about to go to, is the sea, and I parked my bike just there. The bike journey cost £2.57. I did a total of 6 kilometers. Excuse the wind, we know we're close to the sea when the wind picks up. And now I'm going to go to the sea where effectively the Nazis built loads and loads of bunkers during the war. A lot of these buildings around here were demolished, a lot of them were bombed. Sadly, the Allies bombed some of the wrong buildings because the V2 rockets were actually launched various places along this coast, basically targeting Londoners. A lot of Londoners lost their lives during the Nazi attacks. Hitler actually thought the Allies would invade from here as opposed to where we did invade. We effectively invaded in Normandy in France. It's a little bit bright at the coast. The sun's actually starting to penetrate through the sort of grey skies. But if you were to head directly that way, you would hit England, and you'd be slightly north of London. It points towards the East Anglia coast. The sun has finally come out, so I can just about put my shades on. Well, there's a tiny little gap in the clouds, so it justifies the shades on, and it's slightly bright. I wear my sunglasses. But this is the beachfront down effectively just slightly on the edge of the Hague. This is actually called something else. It's a sort of village next to the Hague, but the Hague is now an urban sprawl, and this is effectively what the Hague is. 6 kilometers from the centre, and a lot of nice restaurants, sandy beaches. I can imagine when the weather's nice, this is incredibly crowded. Today the weather is not so nice, it's 12 degrees. Wait for the temperature to hit the mid-20s, and I'm sure this place is packed. So I made it to the top, so I made it to the end of the pier. Not much here, the bungee seems to be closed. I think it obviously functions on the weekend. This is not a weekend, this is a Thursday. I'm tempted to come back, it really depends. I'm meeting friends tomorrow, so it really depends on what they want to do, and also Saturday also meeting friends. So let's see. Okay, it turns out I'm wrong. The bungee is open, but for €90 on a small little jump like that, that's not worth it. What is a little bit more worth it is the zip line. I think this is what someone's about to do. You're going to zip line all the way down, all the way to the beach. That could be fun. that's the palace. I got there a little bit too late. It's now shut. I used the bike again to get from the beach back to the centre. Hopefully I will see that tomorrow. I've got time to see it. Obviously when you're seeing cities like this, it's best to make enough time to see everything. Obviously you won't see everything, but I'm trying my best to see the main sites and to say the word obviously too many times. Now I've got to go pick up my bag and from where I was staying last night, which was very nice. It was an Airbnb, and you can find similar Airbnbs in the city. Use the link in the description and you'll sometimes get $50 to $60 off your booking if you use my link, if you've never obviously signed up. Also the booking.com link will give you, I think, 15 to 20 pounds, $25 or so off your next booking, so use it. Now I best go and try and enjoy the festivities. Hey, so just met up with Aj. Aj is the gentleman who's going to be letting me stay at his a very nice apartment over the next couple of days, and just had some nice beers. And now we're going to go out and find some Belgian food.
Or Dutch, maybe.
Oh yeah. It's only because I was looking at a French fries thing and it was Belgian Fritz. So yeah, that was it. Dutch food, or maybe not. We're gonna have something again. These videos are amazing, aren't they? Anyway. Onwards.
I presume you haven't been into the kind of C&H.
I went to the Passage.
Oh yes, that's quite nice.
Only because
Nice and easy.
we had a great set of drinks and dinner. However, when you get a little bit hungry after all those beers, you pop into one of these places and they've got vending machines. So we're going to go in here and we're going to get a vending machine of a croquette. Check this out. Look at this. This is a croquette in a vending machine. So you get to choose what kind of croquette you want. I presume that's the vegetarian one. It's going to go to vegetarian.
Forget the glass, Woodhouse, just give me the pitcher. For I am a sinner in the hands of an angry God. Bloody Mary, full of vodka, blessed are you among cocktails. Pray for me now, and at the hour of my death, which I hope is soon. Amen.
Today has started a little bit later than expected. When you go out drinking with Aj, expect to drink way too much.
We drank beer. We like beer.
A little bit disappointed because I was hoping to see the Palace yesterday, the Peace Palace that is, and then I was hoping to see the Peace Palace this morning. That hasn't happened, and now the reason for being here is a reunion with a lot of old friends. They're going to be arriving in the next 30 minutes, so the cultural, historic landmarks probably won't get seen in their entirety. I'm going to try my best, but let's see what happens.
Dankjewel. Goed weekend. Hoi hoi.
Wat voor harde mag zijn? 18,7. Keihard. Keihard.
So when in Rome, obviously sample some Dutch food. This is a croquette, and it's best to dip it in a sort of mustard or mayonnaise. Today I'm dipping it in a mustard. Last time I had this was many years ago, so I think it's acceptable to eat one that's got some meat in it, just because this is what the Dutch do. Very sort of moist inside, crispy outside, really good. And the other thing is the meatball, which you just saw. It's a meatball that's cut in slices and then eaten like this. Also very good. Shops. There's so many cheeses you can sample. You can go in there and sample, obviously try and buy something, but they have also the Dutch gingerbread, which I love. It was one of my favorite things as a kid. Anytime I'd visit my grandparents in the Netherlands, we'd often get the Dutch gingerbread, the speculas, I think is what they call it, the Dutch waffles, which I'm sure many of you try because Dutch waffles are everywhere, and truly some really great tastes. Brings back a lot of memories, and if you get a chance, try as many as possible. We're now on our fourth drink, and this is at Brody's, right around the corner from where Arch lives, and the whole crew is here, so taking in as much of the beers as we possibly can. Let's enjoy this.
Right, relax. Oh, yeah.
you. We're off to go get some food now, and then we're going to go on a boat trip. So the boat's going to take us to a brewery, so we're all a bit excited, I think. You can tell we're excited. Yeah. He's really excited.
Yeah. Croquette time.
Loves a good croquette. Only 180. Did you get your change?
Oh.
Probably not. No change needed.
No.
Embrace it. You'll make that beer at the end much more worthwhile.
So I'm not 100% sure which one it is.
Put it up, like a bit of ham in between. You got a ham sandwich, scrambled egg, a croquette, and some soup.
So we've decided to take to the windy canals. Yeah, we're going to be doing like these people are doing. Ready to go? Here we go. I'm so excited. It's really cold right now, but it's sunny at least. It's the rain release. It hasn't signed the release, but at least it's sunny. Fine. industrial area of The Hague. All around us is industrial. This is a concrete company. But over here is where we're going to go. We're going to go into the Compan Brewery to select the sort of local Hague beers.
My friends and I, the boys and girls, yes, we drank beer. I liked beer, still like beer.
I think they're ready. We have already had a few beers already, so we're ready for some more beers. So let's enjoy this.
Which is on a real camera, that's changing the aperture, which is it's pretty cool.
Several drinks in, and I'm hiding behind a barrel just to sort of record this because it's windy. We are continuing to try and sample every beer in this place. This is a fun way to spend a Saturday in The Hague. I highly recommend it.
Celebrating raise 1,000 beer and next it's that tea. And Ray has literally beside himself. And just a shout out to the wandering as well.
Lads, we can identify herbs.
Give it Ali's.
Lads.
Ali's had more Michelin stars.
Is that Rosemary or Dice?
Definitely time.
Is it's Dice. Oh, you fucking dickhead, it's Rosemary. Lads.
The next morning.
So a little bit of a late start today, but that's because obviously the guys I was with, we had a great weekend. Today is Sunday. Pretty much everyone's now disappeared. I'm doing a little bit more sightseeing where I can. This is the Dutch plane. You know, it was basically built from 1813, which commemorates the Dutch independence, the victory against the French, the victory against Napoleon, and the start of the Dutch Constitution. So this is a pretty significant monument to Dutch people, and I think it was commissioned by King William III, but I could be wrong on that, but I think that's what it says. But actually quite an amazing monument.
Yeah.
Very lazy day, just sort of having nice coffees in one of the Dutch coffee shops. Obviously there's many types of coffee shops in the Netherlands. Not all coffee shops sell weed and hash. This coffee shop is focused around the bicycle and serves amazing coffee, in fact. But I haven't had a bad coffee in the Netherlands. They take their coffee very seriously. penthouse bar, which is in the south end of the city. It gives you a kind of perspective on what The Hague looks like, and you can see as you kind of go south, it kind of sort of filters out into nothing, and then as you hit the sort of modern area over there, that's a new town, and then obviously a little bit further around is the old town. It gives you a little bit of perspective on the place. Obviously, best advice to get a sort of understanding of the city is to do this straight away, not on the last day. But to get up here, you pay 12.5 euros. That includes the price of a cocktail. So effectively the price of a cocktail to come up here and have a look at the view. Train from The Hague to Schiphol, and I have to say The Hague was a very enjoyable trip. I might look a little bit worse to wear because when you're hanging out with 7 other blokes that are intent on drinking, you're going to have a lot of alcohol. But I highly recommend The Hague. Obviously try to do it in your own terms, try to see as much as possible. I didn't see everything that I'd like to see, which is a shame, but that just means I can return again, and I do intend to return again. Just a quick hop over from the UK. But the next destination, a little bit hotter now, about to get the plane, so if you're curious about what that destination is, click subscribe here, and or down here, and I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you.